From our mics to your ears, get ready for Anime Podcaster Speed Date, the only show on the internet that takes you in depth with the creators you love or will love soon. I'm your host, Isekai Sensei-Sama, but you can call me Brad, and I'm joined by my co-host, Moxie the Yeen. Say hi, Moxie.
Hi, Moxie.
Our guest has given us a single episode of an anime that means something to them in one way or another. And Moxie and I have compiled questions from that episode that will reveal the inner workings of our guest's mind. So without further ado, I'm happy to introduce today's guest, Grant, aka Ironicus.
Hello, everybody. I'm here. My soul is somewhat undressed, but about to be entirely bare.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I promise Moxie's been confirmed parasite-free. Before we dive into the questions and we learn your deepest, darkest secrets, now is your chance to give us your elevator pitch. I'll put 15 seconds on the clock.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grant. You might know me from 18 years of Let's Plays as half of Chip and Ironicus, or from podcasts like Whiskers, We Share Knowledge Regarding Sequest, Bizarre Podcast, Dogs Must Die, or 6 Feet Under. But today I am here representing the disappearances of Lydia Fontaine.
Our guest has shared with us Turn A Gundam, episode 50, titled Golden Autumn, which originally aired on Fuji TV on April 14th, 2000, and is the final episode of the series. The series first aired on April 9th, 1999, which predates the manga adaptation by 10 days. It was directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino and is notable for 2 reasons. It is the first Gundam designed entirely by a foreigner, American visual futurist artist Sid Mead, and was the last Gundam series to be mostly hand-painted on cells. The series was followed in 2002 by 2 feature-length films, though they are just condensed retellings of the series. Before we begin with the questions, Moxie will tell us a bit about this episode.
I'm going to read a summary that I've taken directly from Gundam's website, because by virtue of coming into a series I've never watched before, where dozens of characters show up and do important things that I had no context for, I had no hope of summarizing without the help of the internet. So here is fresh from Gundam.com, or maybe .net, I don't recall. Harry, learning that Diana is pursuing the 2 turn types, ordered the fleet, including the Soleil, to suppress the Gingham fleet and not head to the battlefield. But Diana still instructs them to head to Lost Mountain. Major Phil did not move the ship, saying it was to protect the Queen, even if accused of treason. Corrin also gets the cooperation of Sochi and the other... I have so many wonderful names. Others to help Lorraine and send the Kapul flying far away. Finally, concerned for the safety of Sochi and the others, Corrin orders Bruno and the others to accommodate them. Cahill's battleship Wales also heads to Lost Mountain, but Lily alone was pursuing Gwyn's spaceship Wilgem, I'm saying none of these right, which was on the verge of crashing. Gingham provokes Loran, saying humans can never forget fighting, so he will destroy everything with the Turn X and start a new era. Maribel also tries to join the battle, but is defeated by Corrin's Kapul. He then leaps at the Turn X as well, but unable to match its overwhelming power, is destroyed along with Corrin's Kapul. Diana on the Soleil approaches the battlefield while putting up a barrier to reduce the damage of the Moonbeam Butterfly even a little. Around the same time, Gwyn was standing on the deck of the crash-landed Wilgem. Lily, catching up, acknowledges Maribel bursting in and fainting in the airship of Michael and the others, who were supposed to have fled, drifting closer in the wind, and tells Gwyn, "I will govern Ameria." On the battlefield, Gingham spits out his feelings of coming to deny Diana because she kept him at a distance and enjoys the battle. In response, Lorraine takes the Turn X attacks at the risk of his life, pierces it with the beam saber along with the Turn A Gundam, and stops the movement of the 2 machines. Gingham and Lorraine, escaping from the cockpit, slash at each other barehanded, but Gingham is entangled in something like the threads of the Moonbeam Butterfly and falls. Right after Sochi rescued Lorraine in the flat, this is all capitalized, the 2 turn types were enveloped in the light of the Moonbeam Butterfly and became a silk ball, eventually transforming into a small mountain cycle. About half a year after the end of the war, regular flights between Moon and Earth are opened. Cahill and Harry board that spaceship Laura, and besides Diana, who retired to a log house by a lake where golden fallen leaves fall, was the figure of Lorraine.
And with that, it's time to start our first round. So let's crank up the heat. In this round, Mox and I will take turns asking questions. All you've got to do is answer them honestly. Are you ready?
Yes.
The titular giant mech of this series, the Turn A, ultimately battles with the Turn X. Since we've skipped the rest of the letters, what letter would you use if you were to design a Turn Gundam, and what would its special ability be?
Well, I would resurrect the God Gundam from the Dark History and invert it somehow into the Turn G. And it would, whatever the opposite of Kung Fu is, that is what it would do. It would have a horse ride it toward the end of the series, just do everything sort of backwards. The pilot would take a photograph and say, "You do not know this man." Yeah, that sort of thing.
I'm going to be real. Watching this episode completely without context or knowledge of Gundam gave me the sense that something really important and emotional was happening, but I had no sense what it was exactly. What's a time in your life where you were in an emotional and or important situation and had no clue what was going on?
Most of the time when you come upon an emotional situation, it's easy to tell what's up, right? You're walking through downtown and you see like a bridal party with their photographer and things aren't going well. You know, those are strangers you're never going to see again in your life, but like you get it. But an unknown emotional situation, just like there's this time, it's in college or after college, you know, I'm at a party with like 3 people I know and 40 people I don't. And there's just this sound in the kitchen, and I don't know what the sound is, but I know how long the silence after went. And I, to this day, I have no idea.
Guy Ginningham's goal is to keep the world embroiled in war, as he states that humanity's purpose is to fight. But he is a terrible fighter who does nothing but pose. What pose would you strike to get your point across?
I think there's something that is just unbeatable about the classic, like, Superman fists on hips, feet shoulder width, you know, chest up, chin up. You cannot intimidate someone in that stance. You're clearly projecting that you are there to make a point and not be debated. You will not be convinced otherwise. That's the one. That's the one for me.
This episode, and Gundam as a whole, has a lot of political and military messaging and maneuvering. How do you think watching this shaped your political views?
Let's see, when did I first watch Turn A? It was only a couple of years ago, so not much. I feel like I was pretty thoroughly, like, baked. And anything that was going to change my mind would come from reality rather than the wild pen of Mr. Tomino. But,
does this answer change if this is extended to all of Gundam?
Not really, because it's the same thing, right? I didn't get into Gundam or really anime in a large way until 2019. And I figure a lot of people have had their politics change between 2019 and now, for sure. But I don't know if I'm necessarily one of them. But like so much of media, especially ones that do want to grab onto the big questions and have something to say, and in this case, often more implicitly than explicitly, you can find most of what you want to while doing a Turn A reading. Some are going to be more accurate to the source material than others, but you can find a guy that's saying what you're saying, and you can concoct a way for that to actually be what you're supposed to take away at the end. I might not agree with you, but you can try.
Mary Bell interrupts the Turn A and Turn X's fight almost before it can begin, and is taken out just as fast. Have you ever had a time where you expected to be a hero, but were thoroughly rebutted instead?
Let's see. Let's try to... What comes to mind is no, but that's so boring. Let's see if I can search my memory and get a yes, or at least a maybe. I think aside from making good radio, I think part of why I want the answer to be a yes or something close to it is because I would find that very flattering, right? I think the idea of being someone who had an opportunity and took it is such a great, lovely idea. But then, how much of your day do you really spend around people in peril? And how much of your day do you spend walking your dog for 5 miles? And she's very small and has little legs, so it takes quite a good amount of time. So, you know what? I think the answer is no.
Many different Gundam weapons are shown this episode, including what I believe to be a grinder mace. What is the loadout of your Gundam?
Well, you can find out by playing Last Shooting. You can find it on itch.io. It's the game I wrote for a tabletop RPG for 2 players of mech duels. And I think of all of the example equipment I put into that book, the one that holds my soul is the Gripple Zip TM, grappling hook attachment. Yeah. I just like saying Gripple Zip.
In this episode, it's impossible to tell who is on one side or the other. How do you feel this works as a metaphor for the current geopolitical environment?
I mean, this is what I was saying, 3-4 questions ago? But, it's part of what I love about the end game of Turn A Gundam. Turn A starts with very clear lines. There are the Earthers and the Moon Race, and then goes through and complicates that, and by the end completely obliterates it to the point where the individuals and small groups that comprise each supra faction at the end are people that you would never imagine having things in common, even 20 episodes previous, but you can't imagine them being anywhere else but what they are in the very final moments. And I think the old man was cooking on this one, actually. Yes.
What was your first brush with mecha anime? Was it this one? Did it what about it planted the bug for you that you got into mecha as a whole?
I mean, where it started and stuck, like I said, was 2019. There was just a lot of Gundam in the water, right? And what I realized in retrospect is, that was the 40th anniversary. That probably had something to do with it. That was probably why it was on people's minds. But I didn't know that at the time. What I knew was just okay, fine. I'm going to try this out, see what happens. Which one is on Netflix? There's one called Unicorn. That sounds fine, I guess. And I watched it, and I really liked it. And while there are certainly Gundam series I appreciate more and find more fruitful in the years since, I'll always have a special spot in my heart for Unicorn, just for being that window. Where I first encountered it was, of course, being a middle schooler in the year 2000 in the Toonami days, and seeing all the ads for Gundam Wing and thinking, no, I'm way beyond that. That's baby stuff for babies. I'm a cool guy who just watches Dragon Ball Z and no other anime. I have other things. That's my one thing, because obviously I'm not gonna skip on that, but the rest of it is not for me. And now here I am all these years later with a JoJo's podcast. And yeah, I just finished watching Dougram. Come on now. I'm deep. I'm lost in it.
Guin appears to be nothing more than an ineffectual oligarch, as any plans he may have come crashing down around him, just as the Willingham does the same. Have you ever had big plans that didn't work out?
Oh, I was gonna have such a great career. I was gonna you ever have big dreams of working in a super cool high powered office or industry, and then you graduate high school and 2006 2008 happens around you, and you wind up just temping for a while, and then you just do really boring office jobs and really boring industries instead. Anyway, that's why I love my hobby so much.
Outside of Gurren Lagann, I'm not very familiar with the mecha genre, despite having nothing against it. What's a genre you're not very familiar with, and why do you think that is?
Yeah. Keeping it you know what? I to broaden beyond anime stuff, but this does obviously include anime stuff. There's anime in every genre. I'm not a big horror guy, and I feel like I should at least watch the classics, build my foundation to know what people are talking about around me. But I've never felt like today is the day, right? Today is the day I watch Halloween. That's never happened to me. It may never happen to me, but I feel like I should.
Petty Officer Corrin builds a Megazord with nothing more than some cables and a box of scraps. What is a time in your life that you've saved the day with creativity or ingenuity?
I feel like this question reminds me of just some of the more intense editing I've done for some of my projects, for things like the Monster Hearts 2 or Renegade Scum series on 6 Feet Under, the actual play show, or making Eschatology and Genesis, a one-off audio drama that was commissioned by Shelves by Genre, the most recent, I think, the most recent marquee show from the Range Touch network. And that one especially, because I wore so many hats on it, and I had to teach myself essentially how to direct audio drama to do it, because I was offered, hey, you want to do this? And I said, yes, I will. That thing I've never done before. A lot of learning while doing and coming up with a creative angle in the midst of facing like what is right for the project, what is possible for the project, and coming up with ways to actually make the material work from there. And yeah, I think, I don't know if it counts as saving the day. People wouldn't be worse off, except for they wouldn't have what I think is a lovely hour of audio entertainment adapting part of the Shadow of the Torturer.
At one point, a character refers to another character they love as a girl and are told they are a boy. Similar to the political question, how do you think this affected your position and thoughts about gender and sexuality? And now knowing that you came to this already in 2019 when you were kind of already baked, so to speak, how has media shaped your view of those things? I guess we'll extend it out from just you already being an adult.
Yeah, I don't think I watched Turn A until like 23 or maybe 24. But yeah, sure. I think you said it before the mics went hot. You can always try new hats. There's no harm in that. But yeah, like obviously, if you were to watch Turn A Gundam, and I think everyone should, it might be the best television show ever made. Gender happens in a big way. And I think that especially for the work of the director, series creator, is always very invested in gender, but often in very fraught ways. Something about this particular project just like opened up a lot of compassion that you do not see in, for instance, Space Runaway Ideon, or some of his other, like the parade of dead women in Zeta Gundam. That is really what that show is in the back third. But I think you can see that question working behind the scenes as you watch the show. And the number of queer friends I had as a person who occasionally jokingly referred to himself as the token cishet guy in various projects. Like it's nice to see something from 1999 and from a creative team that always had their hearts in the right place, but sometimes forgot that women are people too, rather than just containers for ideology. To make something as nuanced and believable along those terms and open and compassionate as Turn A is really, really something special.
With our first round down, now it's time to slow things down a bit for round 2. In the second round, we will keep asking questions, but in a more slow and sultry way. Are you prepared?
Should I answer them in a more slow and sultry way?
That's totally up to you.
Okay, cool.
At one point, a Gundam is rocket punched in the crotch. What do you believe is the military purpose of Gundam genitals that would make such a maneuver an effective choice to take?
Well, in this case, the cockpit is, shall we say, appropriately named. It is the weak point of a mech, after all, the pilot.
There is a large emphasis on butterfly imagery, not least of which is the war ending with a giant cocoon. Can you remember a time in your life where you went through a metamorphosis?
Yeah. Like, it is weird because about half of my life has been producing stuff on the internet for people to enjoy. So I feel like for people like our good friend Moxie here, I don't know like how much people have gleaned of reality from the public face, the performative, Let's Play co-host. But like, I've just entering adulthood, and I think having an audience, actually having people say, oh, this is really great, or this was disappointing, being checked, I guess, in those transformative, college, early 20s years, when you're figuring out what you want to put into the world and what you want to get back from it, having, I don't know, a crowd of people either cheering you on or saying, nah, that ain't it, chief. Even the ones who are wrong. Like, not all of the people providing feedback are correct or on the side of the angels. But boy, they fill up a YouTube comment box all the same. Has really been a tool from which I can build my cocoon and grow my wings. Because I think I like to think I'm a better person than I was 2 years ago or 2 years before that, et cetera, all the way back. And if that is true, it's because you never stop changing.
Towards the end of the episode, two men who are originally in their mechs exit their mechs and fight on foot with swords. What is something you have learned in the heart of battle?
Well, I've learned that one of them should have brought a gun, and this all would have gone very differently. Don't underestimate range.
The Moonlight Butterfly is a super weapon that apparently uses nanotechnology and could cause a cataclysm known as dark history if not kept under control. What would you do to curtail the use of technology that could cause the downfall of humanity?
If I could convince the right people that generative AI has cooties, just think about how many trends in society could turn around. Just inherently, you can't debug the cooties. It's just in there. You have to ditch the whole thing.
A character is ready to kill many on Earth to teach them a lesson. What would drive you to such behavior, or what core tenet of yourself keeps you from ever reaching it?
I mean, like, I think everyone's got one shot, okay? We all have to figure out who you're going to take your one shot at. Because, unfortunately, they can lock up all of us. But some of us are going to get lucky. All right?
Yeen seems to be in love with Loran and calls him Laura. Would you wear a skirt for your significant other?
Yeah, sure. Or Halloween or someone's birthday. Like, I don't know.
Many of the robots in ships in this episode have incredible and poetic names. What is the name of your Gundam? And why?
Now, we are assuming that this is not just any old mobile suit, but a Gundam, right? Like, this is the embodiment of the violence required to enforce hegemony and colonialism, right? I think I would have it would have a name that sounds poetic but isn't an actual word, and like someone would have to go like 3 paragraphs deep on a wiki to figure out like what is being symbolically like alluded to. Something like the S-breath, the Gundam S-breath. I think that has good mouthfeel.
Yeen Ginningham is incredibly fit, and his name is spelled like Jim. How much can you bench?
How much is a bench? Probably about as much. Let's see. Having never tested this hypothesis, I'm going to say 60.
What is a time in your life you wished you had a rocket punch, or one that you could imagine in the future why you'd want one? And this is on a human level, not on a giant robot level, just to be clear.
Well, yeah, I don't want to. I mean, some people are just living their lives out there. I don't want a rocket punch that causes collateral damage. If I had a job delivering flowers, if I were a process server, if I were a Grubhub driver and like I knew someone was on the 3rd floor and I didn't want to ring the bell, you know, I feel like I would like a very utilitarian rocket punch.
In the conclusion, Queen Diana goes on to live on a small estate by a lake in the middle of a forest with only Loran as a companion. What is your ideal retirement?
I mean, that sounds nice. That sounds really nice. I would like a bigger lake. I would like Lake Superior, but otherwise that sounds really nice. They got them deer just like walking around out there. All of the Queen Diana life, yeah. But in somewhere near Munising, I think. Yeah.
This is now the 2nd time on this show we've been given the finale of a popular mecha anime. Much like I asked the last guest that did this, what drove you to pick this episode?
I would bet that as this show continues, you're going to get mostly finales, next up premieres, and like in probably distant 3rd place, anything in between. But like when I think about when the request is a single episode of an anime that meant something to you, like this show and this particular episode just knocked me on my ass. And the moment where I will literally cry just about any time I watch it is when Sochi gets on the bicycle and screams into the night every single goddamn time. So yeah, like there's no choice. It was probably going to be Gundam something, right? It could have been the finale of First Gundam or like Time Be Still from First Gundam, but no, it was going to be the end of Turn A.
Korin's heroic sacrifice is crucial in averting another age of dark history. Does his explosive demise make up for him being a huge misogynist?
You know, the bigger question is, does it make up for him being like an ICE agent when in like his first arc? Not that that's entirely separate from being a misogynist, clearly, but he goes through a lot. He grows a lot. Over time, he becomes a monk for a while. So like by the end, he's likable, and you can take the obvious misogyny all the way to the bitter end in a few ways. One of which is, there's that scamp. You can improve on all of these, but nope. That he's still that same old guy from way back when, all those months ago. Or you can see him as like, yeah, the sign of the creators recognizing that yes, we've grown, we've changed, we've made something really special here, but we are fallible humans. We know that some of that stuff we did in even just a few years ago is not really the sort of stuff we'd like to put into the world as much as this show. But no, I'm glad he's dead.
The intro talks of many colors, and the episode is called Golden Autumn. What is the color of this episode we're recording now?
Let's see. I think this is a cobalt. This is a cobalt blue episode.
While the queen pieces out into the woods, her double takes her place to rule over the moon. If you had a double, what hardships or chores would you foist onto them?
Well, that's rude. I try to treat myself better than that, even if myself is a different person. I mean, there's a division of labor. Like, I can tell you, my apartment would be a lot cleaner, you know, but it wouldn't be all on one of us rather than the other, right? It's just, suddenly we'd have 48 hours in the day, unlike Beyonce. We could defeat Beyonce, is what would happen.
With round 2 in the bag, it's now time for our final round. This one's a little different. It's time for the quickfire round. In this round, you'll have 60 seconds to answer as many yes or no questions as you can. If you answer anything other than yes or no, the round will end. In this round, you'll be shooting for a high score against all of our other guests. Our current champion is David from Shonen Flop with 20 questions answered. So now it's time to get started. 60 seconds on the clock.
Do you own any gunpla of any of the Gundams seen in this episode?
Yes.
Is a Gundam man's romance?
No.
Do you have red burning blood?
No.
Do you keep believing in the warmth of their hands?
Yes.
Do you think the world is ready for an industrial revolution in a skirt?
Yes.
Is flatto justice?
No.
Hooray for lesbians, yes or no?
Yes.
Are you always planning for the future?
No.
Can you name a butterfly?
Yes.
Do you have the brains or courage to engage in conspiracy?
No.
Is Turn A Gundam your favorite Gundam series?
Yes.
Rocket punch to the crotch?
Yes.
Is war bad?
Yes.
Do you take pleasure in fighting for its own sake?
No.
Is the robot cool?
Yes.
Do you envy the swallowtail butterfly?
Yes.
Name a prog rock band.
No.
And there you have it, folks. Grant has answered a total of 17 questions. That places them in 3rd place. As a consolation prize, you get a choice. You can either take a year's supply of lavender-scented hydraulic oil, or you can tell the audience where they can find you and what you've got going on.
Well, you can find me publicly in my day-to-day on a social media basis on Blue Sky as My Name is Grant, because my name is Grant. But I would love every single one of you to go check out The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine. This is an ongoing audio drama, new episodes every Sunday until our season is complete. It is a bit of a cyberpunky thing. It is a mystery. There's a little magical realism going on. It is about a young woman named Lydia who disappears, wouldn't you know it, and her friends are trying to find her as they all get caught up in this web of a powerful family in big tech spaces that borders on the mystical, the magical, the surreal. My character is one of Lydia's amoral and bickering uncles. Some people would say he's the best one. I would say into the fire with all of them. But I do love that it is the sort of show where we can have those disagreements of interpretation. It's a great deal of fun. Episode 6 of 10 just came out, so you've got a little bit of a backlog to cushion you as we go into the very exciting endgame.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you had a fun time. Anime Podcaster Speed Date is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Blue and red disposable pens are provided in part by our generous patrons. Subscribe so you don't miss future episodes or the other shows on the Anime Podcaster Reincarnation Network. Go to animepodcasterreincarnation.com to learn more. And with that, this has been Grant, Moxie the Yeen, and me, Isekai Sensei-Sama. And you've just been part of a Anime Podcaster Speed Date! just something that I thought about as we were going through this, because so many of your answers have been really great, and there's a lot of good interstitial stuff that's going to get cut out. I'm thinking I'm going to release the quote-unquote uncut version. It'll still have cuts in it, but like the long form on our Patreon.
Oh, okay.
And then probably do that from now on, because
there was a lot of good. I knew when Grant, when you put up the thing of like, I'm going on podcasts, I'm like, oh my gosh, he'd be so good. I know you to be an intelligent, well-spoken human that is good on their feet. And it's like, that's what this show, people on the show excel with that. So
yeah,
I got my shots.
that's relevant right now.
What?
You haven't heard about that?
No?
There's a parasite going around on like produce and stuff.
Oh, I already got that.
You had that?
I think that was the one. I didn't know it was a parasite, but I think I got that already.
I don't think you can become immune.
Am I sterile
to a parasite?
Okay, then maybe that's. I don't know. I thought I saw that. I'm like, that sounded like the thing that I had like a month ago, right after Fringe.
Yeah, it actually does sound like that.
Let's also shout out. I'm gonna do a bonus one and shout out Sex Archie.
You should shout out Sex Archie. It's not. You know what? It is anime. Thank you very much. Actually,
it is. No, it is. Thank you, Gundam.com.
That might be more confusing than the actual episode.
That might have been more confusing than
short shrift to all the "Where Are They Now" montage at the end.
Yes.
Wow.
It was very beautifully made.
So they called it Moonbeam Butterfly.
Yeah, that's what literally that was copy pasted directly from the Gundam website.
Because in the episode they call it the Moonlight Butterfly.
Yeah, that's right.
Every other source I can think of, it goes with Moonlight, and interesting.
Somebody in a room decided a localizer or otherwise decided that at some point, and then at another point somebody decided something else.
Many such cases,
and one of those got into the official docs.
And this is where I would play
some fun music,
for you that you
some
can't
energy moving
hear.
that you can't hear.
Dun, dun, dun,
Can you play it for me so I can feel the energy? I know I can hear it. Not helpful to Grant. Sorry.
Geem Ginging. Not
Gingham?
Geem Gingingham.
Gingham.
I think they did a study about that before and found that just posing like that will boost your confidence. Like just having your body in that stance.
It helps to have a big flowy cape in the breeze.
I remain very surprised this was a thing that was later in life for you, because I just assumed you were always into mecha anime and all that.
No. I fell kind of hard and fast. And with a deep preference for the stuff that's older than I am.
50th anniversary is like
around the corner, yeah.
Must be.
Pretty soon, right? Or is it early next
3
year?
3 years away, yeah.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, they have started building the hype cycle early.
They've started building the giant Gundam again, and it's going to take 3 years.
I think I have one more question here for round 1, but you basically just answered it.
Efficiency.
And your answers have been good and long, so I think we'll end round 1 there and move on. Just for your reference, the Gundams of this series come in all shapes and sizes. How important is diversity to you in both life and in media?
Can I take a personal moment as we get ready for round 2 to thank you, Grant, and the rest of the gang for being so queer-friendly, because that definitely helped a lot with my own gender journey over the years?
Sure. Whichever gang that is, I'm sure they'd be happy.
You do have many. There is, yes, you're right. There is many.
I've got a few circles of collaborators
said,
and etc. Yeah.
As you said, the token cis male, so no, I guess any number of them collectively. The Grantiver, the online Grantiver. Goodness.
Sure.
But no, that genuinely thank you. It helps having people out there vocally on the internet in a chill way to be like, hey, you're chill, you're safe, and I appreciate that.
Well, that's very, I really appreciate that. I mean, I don't want to like ruin what might be in round 2, but there's a rocket punch to the dick in
Hold up, subs! Don't spoil it.
Okay.
Of course.
I was just really expecting that to have appeared by now in the
yeah, I'm round 2. Whatever. He'll tell you. There's we save some things to pretend like round 2 has a theme. Which we're gonna race for that one now to see who gets it first. Hopefully they're different enough to warrant it.
I think yeah, mine's in the quick fire.
Oh, okay, then I'm going for it. Then I'm going for it. I mean, you do yours first because that's how the order works. But I'm gonna go find mine on my sheet and ask it right now. Well, there you go. That's what we told.
The alternative to that would be all of those servos and joints and stuff that are for locomotion within the hip
pistons
and crotch area.
Yeah.
If you destroy that, they can't move anymore.
There you go.
Yeah, but legs are just for show. The brass doesn't understand that.
The turn X does come completely apart and then go back together. So yeah. A gun? Damn.
Why did he have a sword? Why did their robots have swords?
Why wouldn't you have a sword?
Why wouldn't you have a gun though inside the robot? Whatever.
Maybe he did, and he was like, "No, I
want a sword.
I want a sword fight."
Yeah, good point. I respect it.
There's an early 90s one-act Sondheim musical with some interesting ideas.
Wait, I don't actually know if that one's one act or not. Are we talking about assassins? Or is there another one?
Find the intermission, I dare you.
There was one. I swear the one that I saw 2 years ago at a very interesting time.
Oh, okay.
I swear it had an intermission. Maybe I hallucinated that.
Or they added it.
What?
Maybe they added it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It was a heck of a time to see Assassins a month before the election, let me tell you.
Or just because it makes me feel pretty.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just nice to wear a skirt.
It's humid out, man. What?
Just put the food in the face.
Hey, you get a good tip if a rocket fish shows up with your,
I'm not going to tip somebody. I have to save that money to repair the side of my building.
No, it just goes up to the window and you open the window and that's how I imagine it. I don't know. Grant, how did you imagine? Are they getting it from the window? I need more information here.
They get it from the window. It goes through the wall.
Okay.
The sweat dropped.
No. Family friendly.
They got them deer just like walking around.
What was that
out
deer
there.
doing in the back there? Did you see that?
Deer's just living life, having a grand old time.
They're just sitting there, and then this little deer goes. Whoop, whoop. I had to watch that like 3 or 4 times. Like, what is that? I did wish I understood what she was doing. And
I asked that one question of like, I feel like something important is happening, and I'm just too stupid to know.
I thought it was hilarious because like the last thing he did was tell some girls to go back to the kitchen,
yes,
and then beat the shit out of another woman.
Always fun landing on those characters with no context and going, does Japan want me to think, like you said, Greg, is this man a scamp? Am I supposed to be like charmed in a weird old 80s way that I'm also uncomfortable by? Or should I just straight up be uncomfortable by this and throw this man in the trash? I don't know. It's really hard to tell with old media, especially anime and manga. Care to elaborate?
No.
For funsies, do you wish to destroy Earth?
No.
Did the climactic battle at the end remind you of the Liquid Ocelot fight from Metal Gear Solid 4?
Yes.
Do you wish to pilot a Gundam?
No.
What a journey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I hope you had fun with
I hope you had fun, Grant.
Oh, that was lovely.
It's a ridiculous concept, but
yes.
It's a good icebreaker.